Okay, welcome back to the second part of Addition 11. We're looking at adding two-digit numbers, adding two-digit numbers together. Okay, so the last part we looked at making number bonds to 100 when we add two-digit numbers, and now we're going to look at adding any two-digit numbers that can make more than 100. So you will need for this session, you will need the place value counters that you can download from the Introduction to Maths Masters session, or there are base 10 on there. The base 10 are the tens, sticks, the ones, counters and the hundreds, and you may also want to use the Key Stage 1 or the Key Stage 2 place value grid that can be found in the place value tens and ones session. Okay, so firstly, just to warm us up on this one, we're going to practice just adding on 10 to any two-digit number. So we use 100 squared to do this, but we can also use base 10 to help us and to see it in a visual way. So we've got 25 add 10. We can find 25 on the number square and add 10 onto it. So 25 add 10 would be 1 down on the 100 square, which would be 35. The other way of doing this is to use the place value grid, looking at using your tens and ones. If you can draw it onto here, or you can cut out your little pieces and do it that way. If we've got 25 and we add on another 10, what have we got all together? We have got 5 ones and we've got 3 tens, so we have made 35. Now, common mistake that might be made here is when you're adding it together, when you say I've got 3 tens and 5 ones, you may write it down as 3 tens is 30 and we've got 5 ones and it looks like that. But remember the place value, so it's always good to put the place value headings, tens and ones. We've got 5 ones and 3 tens like that. Okay, right, I'd like you to have a go now. So have a go at the second one, 37 add 10. Have a go at that and use either base 10, you can use base 10, you can use counters to help you. Have a go. So, with this one, 37 add 10. You can use, and I'm going to show you using the base 10, covered for now, and I'm going to write tens and ones. So 37 add 10, we can put on, I'm running out of space, 37 add 10, we can put on our 3 tens and our 7 ones, and we can add 10 on. What have we got now? We've got 7 ones still and we've got 4 tens. So that makes 47. We can also do this, we can add on 20. So if we go 25, add 20. So we can start off with 20 and 5, and we can add on 20, and now we have got 5 ones and we've got 4 tens, so we've got 45 now. Okay. So you have a go at these now. So have a go at question 4 and question 5 using base 10 or place value counters or a number line. It doesn't matter which. Have a go at using each different one, just to give you the practice, because the practice will really help you to become a marvellous maths master. Okay, so have a go at those ones, and there's always the 100 square as well. Pause pause it and off you go. Okay, so 37 and 20. So what we've got here, I'm going to use base 10 for this one. We've got our 10s and our 1s. I've got 30, 37. I've got the cat watching me. 37, and I add 20 on. So I add that on. What have I got all together? So I've got 7 1s, and I've got 3 10s, 2 more 1s, makes 5 10s, and I've got 57 altogether. 48 and 30, I'm going to show this one using a number line. Okay, so we've got 48 and 30, and I can count on, I can go to 58, adding 10, 68, adding 10, and to 78, adding 30 on, like that. Okay. So, what we're going to do then is have a look at adding some 2-digit numbers where we have got 10s and 1s, so we can look at partitioning to help us with these. And I recommend base 10 place value counters or the number line with this. So the first one we're going to look at is 25 add 13. So, I'm thinking about these numbers. I want to start with the bigger number because I understand commutativity of addition, so it can be done in any order. So 25 is the bigger number, so I'm going to start with that. So I need to look at partitioning this number. So I'm going to partition what I'm going to add on into 10 and 3. So I can do 25 add 10 and then add on 3. So a mental way of me doing this is I can think 25 add 10. My number knowledge from practicing using the 100 square is 35. 25 add 10 makes 35, and then add on 3 more. Or I can use the base 10. So I've got 25 made up of 2 10s and 5 1s. And I'm going to add to it 13. So I've got 13 is made up of 1 10 and 3 1s. Okay, so I'm going to do this by adding together my 1s and then my 10s. Okay, so I've partitioned 25 into 20 and 5. And I've partitioned 13 into 10 and 3. So I'm going to add together my 1s first. Now I've got 5 and 3 1s. So 5, 6, 7, 8, or using number bond knowledge, 5 and 3 is equal to 8. So I've got 5 add 3 is equal to 8. And then I've got 20 and 10. 20 add 10 more is equal to 30. And then I can add those together. 30 add 8 is equal to 38. And we can see that here. We've got 5 and 3 that makes 8 1s. And we've got 2 10s add 1 10 makes 3 10s and makes 38 as well. We can also do this on a number line. We can start at 25 and we can add on the 13, so we can break that down into 10, which takes us to 35, and then we can add on 3 more, which takes us to 38. Okay, The other thing you could do on the number line is you could look at the part whole using your number bonds, regrouping to make 10. You can think 25, add 13. You can break 13 into 5 and 8. So you have 25, add 5 takes you to 30. You've regrouped to make 10. And then add on 8 more takes you to 38 as well. Okay, the final way I'm going to show you of doing this one is using the place value counters. Once you understand tens and ones and you get into year 4, 5 and 6, you can then move on to using place value counters because they're really handy when you get onto bigger numbers. So if we can make 25. It's made up of 2 10s and 5 1s. And we can make 13, which is made up of 1 10 and 3 1s as well. And then we can add them together. 5 and 3 is 8, 1s, 2 10s and 1 10 is 3 10s, so it makes 38 as well. Okay, so when you are using this, we'll then move on to a more abstract way of working. So what we will do then, when we get onto the more abstract way of doing this, is do it like this. We may not need to set it out like that. We could start off with 25 add 13. So we've got 20 add 10 is equal to 30, and 5 and 3 is equal to 8. So 30 add 8 is equal to 38. And that is a more abstract way of doing it. Okay, so now we're going to have a go at solving some problems using these together. Okay, so we've got Ellie and Drew. Ellie and Drew have gone to the fairground and they're throwing bean bags into buckets. Okay, and there are 4 buckets and they have to try and get the biggest score they can to win a prize. So Ellie goes first and the buckets are worth different amounts. We've got bucket 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now if you get the beanbag in bucket 1 you score 11, in bucket 2 it's 33, in bucket 3 it's 50 and in bucket 4 it's 42. Okay, so Ellie throws her beanbags and they land in bucket 1. She gets 1 beanbag in there and she gets 1 beanbag in bucket 2. What will she have? What is her total score altogether? How are you going to work this out? What number are you going to start with to add those together? Okay, pause it, have a think about that. What number are you going to start with? Okay, so what number did you think to start with? 33, because if you start with a bigger number then it's easier, less counting on to do, more chance of being accurate and it's more efficient. Okay, so I'm going to show this using 10s and 1s. So we're going to have 33 add 11. So we can partition this into 10s and 1s to help us. So we've got the first number is 33, made up of 3 10s and 3 1s. And we're going to add to that 11. 11 is made up of 1 10 and 1 1. So then we can add these numbers together first. Now notice if you're going to do any practicing of this at home, I'm only looking at friendly numbers in the 1s, so we're not bridging over 10. We're not going to do any exchanges in this session. So we've got 3 1s and 1, 1. So we start, if we're using this way, with the ones first. 3 and 1 makes 4. So I can keep a little calculation here of what I'm doing. 3 and 1 is equal to 4. Then I've got 3 tens and 1 10. So I've got 30 and 10 is equal to 4 tens, which is 40. And then I can add those together. 40 add 4 is equal to 44. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is have a go using one of these methods to work out what Drew's score was. So now Drew throws 2 beanbags and his land in buckets number 2 and 4. So his beanbag lands in bucket 2 and the second one lands in bucket 4. So think about that one. What number are you going to start with? How are you going to add them together? Are you going to use a number line? Are you going to use the base 10, partitioning the numbers into 10s and 1s and adding them? Or are you going to think about how you can do it using the place value counters? So pause it, have a go at that one. Okay, so this time Drew's been throwing the beanbags in. So he's got 42 and 33. I hope you started with the number 42 because it's the bigger number. 42 and 33. So I'm going to show you this first using a number line. For those of you who did it in a pictorial way. So we've got 42 and 33. So I've got 42, I can add on 30, which takes me to 72, and then add on the 3, which takes me to 75. Another way you could do it is to use the base 10. So down in Key Stage 1, you'll be using the actual base 10. So what you can do here is you get together your 10s and 1s and you physically get hold of them. So you partition this into 40 and 2 and put the headings in to help you. Put the place value headings on top of your numbers because that will really help you to think when you come to get them together at the end. So you've got 40 and 2 and we've got 30 and 3. Okay, and what you need to do is physically get hold of them. So how many 1s have we got? We have got 3 1s and we've got 2 1s. All together we've got 5 1s. Now this is a common error that I see happening when you come to write that as an answer. Because we encourage children, because we encourage you to count up the 1s first, this can happen. 5 1s. What's the problem here? Okay, the 5 is in the 10s column. It isn't 5 10s, it is 5 1s. So you've got to be making sure, put your place value headings for your answer. You've got 5 1s there all together. Then you can add your 10s together. And you've got 4 10s and 3 10s that makes 7 10s all together. So that's 70 and it's 7 10s there. So again, making sure we're not writing 70, we're just writing 7 10s. Okay. When we move on to more formal written methods, we'll begin by doing this. 42 add 33, and we'll see that as 40 add 30 and 2 and 3 to make 70 and to make 5, and then add those together, 40 and 30 to make 75. Okay, one more common error before you go off and practice these on your own. Really careful when we're adding numbers using place value, because it's so important where that number is placed in our place value system of what value it has, what it represents. We've got to be really careful when we're putting these together. So we don't want to end up putting the numbers in the wrong place. We don't want to end up with that there and it now looks like we have got 3 ones and 3 ones. We've got to be really careful that doesn't happen, so we need to make sure the 10s stay in the tens column, the zeros, the ones stay in the ones column. And this becomes more apparent when we start to do this using only digits. When we have 3 and 43, and we might have 221, and we might have 46. We can easily end up with numbers in the wrong places, so we've got to be really careful, always thinking about what are we adding together. Is it ones, is it tens, making sure we're accurate there. Okay, so what I like to do, in the description section, there's some activities to do, practicing adding two-digit numbers, using friendly numbers. We're not bridging over 10 today, we're going to do that tomorrow. Practice using place value counters, base 10, number line, before going on to the abstract way of doing it without using them all together. Okay, now see you back here for the next session. Remember to like the video, subscribe, and share your work with me, #MathsMasters, #Marvellous Maths Masters. Goodbye.